Hey guys, my name is Ryan and welcome to Overwatch Central. So it's just me today and I want to talk about something that kind of annoyed me with the whole Doomfist thing. There was a common theory going around that Doomfist was going to be announced at E3 by Blizzard up until Jeff Kaplan said that they weren't going to attend E3 at all. But that's not necessarily the thing that sort of got me annoyed. We heard like 2 or 3 weeks ago that Jeff Kaplan and the Overwatch team only plan to release 3 to 4 heroes a year. Specifically 3, and then as time goes on they want to make it less and less over time. Well, considering we only got a hero, what, a month and a half ago at this point, we want to take a look at the content calendar, when to actually expect Doomfist if he is the next hero, but also look at the whole content schedule for 2016 and sort of relay it to 2017 and try and find out when the next event will be, when the next hero will be, and also the next map. Because if we look at stats and dates and how often these maps are added into the game, well, we're long overdue one. I do want to start with this often misquoted bit of Jeff Kaplan talking about hero release schedule. It comes from a GameSpot article where the interviewer asks if they have an upper limit for how many heroes that they want in the game, and just how the more heroes that they add to the game, the harder it will be to balance it, I suppose. The first sort of bit of it, Jeff Kaplan talks about the overall amount of heroes that they'll find in the game, that Overwatch isn't a MOBA and they don't need to release heroes as often as Heroes of the Storm, for example. But the important bit I want to highlight is, so I would not like to see hero development not go any faster than it currently is, and maybe over time even slow it down somewhat. And then talks about how each hero is a special event and, you know, that they love their children and stuff like that, basically. But this is the key thing. People were saying that they were gonna get like a Doomfist announcement at E3, but that's next month. That's June. 2 months since a sort of hero came out. And if we're going by the fact that they want to release 3 heroes a year because that's how many they've released so far since launch, then obviously we're not gonna see it in June. I think most people would know that we're not gonna see a hero that soon anyway. So that raises the question, when are we gonna see our next hero? But also stretches on to when's the next event and when's the next map gonna be? Well, we've done content schedules in the past to try and work out when we're going to see new things, specifically what dates events are going to land on and stuff like that. But today we've drawn up a sort of 2017 plan of when we're more likely to see stuff happening. Now the main one I want to focus on is the maps, because as you're seeing, it's been a while since Oasis. It was on the PTR very late November, early December, and eventually made its way onto the live servers at the start of January. No idea why it was on the PTR for so long, but maybe that's the reason why we haven't seen a map for quite some time. Now, if we analyse the sort of days between when Eichenwald was announced at Gamescom and on the PTR to Oasis, it was 99 days. Now 4 months is roughly 121, so it was just over 3 months between the two. And now of course it's impossible to say that sort of 3-4 months time from Oasis is when we're going to get the next map. We only have one bit of data, right? However, if we look at the difference between Route 66, which was the last map added in before the game was launched, and that was on the 22nd of March 2016, to Eichenwald, that's 155 days. Now that's like 5 months or so, which isn't really a timescale I think Blizzard would be going by. But let's say it's another 155 days that we'll see the new map from Oasis. Well, 155 days time from the 29th of November is Wednesday, May the 3rd, which as you're seeing is just right around the corner. So if we're going from Blizzard similarly to how they want to release heroes, maybe 3 a year, if we're going for the same thing for maps, then we're long overdue one, which seems to me that we're going to see a map within the next 6 weeks or so. We haven't heard anything about it, but I would sort of keep your ear to the ground when it comes to hints and teasers of new maps. Now, we haven't heard Jeff Kaplan or the Blizzard team talk about maps in quite some time. In a developer update at the end of last year, Jeff spoke about that they were working on some maps that were more experimental in nature, but he said that they're adding at least one that is shaping up pretty well. This was like 4 months ago. So whilst I'm not saying that we're going to necessarily see one within the coming week or so, maybe you should stop sort of looking towards when Doomfist might release and look at when the next map might be. As I said, we're long overdue one, so if we're going for a 4-month schedule, then it's like now. So let's talk about when the new hero might be. To look at dates, Anna was released on July the 12th, Sombra was of course announced at BlizzCon, which was early November, November the 4th, and the Risa was added on the 2nd of March. So let's look at the days in between. Anna and Sombra was 115 days between the two, and Sombra and Arisa was 119. Bear in mind that 4 months is roughly 121 days, so that would mean roughly the next hero we'll be seeing in early July. Whether this may be Doomfist or not, it's hard to say, but I do have a little bit of a fairy about that, not to get distracted for too long. I do feel that Doomfist was meant to come out instead of Orisa, and that they had a lot of the Doomfist stuff done up until Terry Crews came in and was like, I want to voice the part. And this is of course assuming that Terry Crews is going to be the Doomfist, which I'm pretty sure most people are almost certain on. That they had to scrap a lot of stuff with Doomfist to get Terry Crews in, to maybe build the lore around him a little bit as well. And so Orisa was kind of shoehorned in a little bit. That's why nobody sort of saw her coming, and why her lore almost complements Doomfist, because a lot of that stuff was put there, but they needed more time to finish off the hero, so they made this other hero, which is Orisa. That's just a little bit of a theory of mine, but if you agree or disagree with that, then do let me know in the comments below. But yeah, if we're looking at sort of 4 months since Orisa's launch, then yeah, we're looking at early July or mid-July, which lines up nicely to when Anna came out last year. And finally, let's go over the events, because we're kind of in one now, so I don't think people are looking particularly far ahead for when the new event might be. Let's look at when the events were last year. We of course got the Summer Games to begin with, which was very early August the 2nd to the 23rd. We then got Drunkenstein's Revenge in October the 11th to November the 1st. Christmas came around with a Winter Wonderland, which was December the 13th to January the 3rd. And very quickly afterwards, we got Year of the Rooster, which was the 24th of January to February the 14th. Now, of course, we're in Uprising, which is the 11th of April to May the 2nd. So let's look at the dates in between. The days between the Summer Games ending and Drunkenstein starting was 49, Drunkenstein ending and then Christmas was 42, Christmas to Rooster was 21, very quick in between, and then Rooster to the Uprising was 56 days. So on average, you're looking at about 42 days between each event, and I don't think we're going to see more than 56 days for Rooster and Uprising. This is of course probably to do with the fact that the Christmas and Rooster events were very close together, so they wanted to give it some space as well, and of course working on the amazing stuff that was in the Uprising. So when are we roughly looking for the next event? Well, it looks like it's going to be in June the 13th to the 27th, I would say, in between those gaps. But also there might be a little bit of a hint to what the next event may be. One of May's sprays in the recent Uprising one was her wearing the Summer Games shirt, and now we've heard from Jeff Kaplan that he wants to bring the Summer Games back in some capacity, basically giving people the opportunity to get these skins on an annual sort of event. Not only that, I imagine we're going to see the return of the likes of Lucio Ball and Drunkenstein's Revenge in the arcade once that time of year rolls around, but I don't necessarily think that the next event is just going to be the Summer Games 2017. Not only is that kind of really boring from Blizzard's part, but they also like making new stuff, and I'm sure people want new stuff in the event rather than the same event coming up again and just some more skins added to it. What I do think is going to happen though is after a year or so, yes, Lucio Ball and the Summer Games will come back in some capacity, but maybe the skins and rare cosmetics that were from the event will just be available to buy normally. After a year has passed, then that's kind of it. Those skins just go out for free. Well, not for free, but you know what I mean. They're no longer sort of locked away because they're just event only. So whilst the Summer Games will most likely be making a return in some capacity, I don't think the next event is just going to be the Summer Games 2017. But if you disagree, let us know in the comments below. And we're pretty much coming to the end of the video anyway, but really quick, I want to go over what the summer looks like for new content. And it basically looks like we're going to get a next map pretty soon, honestly. I'm surprised that we haven't got it already looking at the stats that we've got. So expect to see that next, with a new event showing up in June. Maybe the Summer Games, may not, with the next hero being out in sort of early July. Now don't forget that in August there is Gamescom, where Blizzard have a big presence, and no doubt they'll be bringing something to that show at some point. I hope it'll be a new map as opposed to the new hero, simply because newer maps are funner to play at conventions than the new hero. Playing 6 Sombras versus 6 Sombras was actually kind of annoying at BlizzCon. We never really got to try out the hero in its pretty awesome capacity. Even a hero as intricate as Sombra just wasn't playing out very well when 6 people are playing it on your team. So I'd like to see a new map at Gamescom, but I don't think we'll be waiting all of this time for a new map then as well. So honestly, not sure what we might see at Gamescom, but I'm sure we'll see something. But when it comes to like other game modes in the competitive circuit or other things added into Overwatch, such as the arcade was, it's going to be BlizzCon. All of that stuff that is more about the game's overall health, of course there'll be new heroes announced there as well. But I do think there's going to be more bigger stuff at BlizzCon, and we're not going to just see it thrown out at any point. But if you agree or disagree, let us know in the comments below. Be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. Really helps out the channel. I will be sure to make another one of these once we see what the events and the heroes and the maps come out as. But do let us know in the comments below what you think, and until next time, take care, and we'll see you then.